everyone, welcome to the video series of computer programming. Myself Neha Patel, I am a lecturer in VPMP Polytechnic, Gandhinagar. We will start with the unit 1, flowchart and algorithm of the subject computer programming, diploma semester 1. Today's topic is flowchart and algorithms in programming. So let's start. First of all, let's see. The objective of today's session is to learn about the algorithms, its advantages, characteristics and steps, how to write algorithm. Then we will see flowchart, its definition, symbols, guidelines, how to draw the flowchart and limitations of the flowchart. After that we will see control structures used in flowchart and algorithm. And at last, we will see the examples of algorithm as well as flowchart. Let's start with the introduction. So friends, algorithm and flowchart both are the tools to learn programming. An algorithm is a step-by-step solution to any process or a problem, while a flowchart is a step of program in a graphical way. That means we will write the algorithm in step-by-step manner and we will draw the symbols to represent the solution of a problem in a flowchart. So, I suggest for the beginners in programming, it is always recommended to first write the algorithm and then draw the flowchart for solving a particular problem, and then only they can write a program in their required programming language. So first of all, let's see what is the algorithm and what is its definition. So generally, software engineers uses an algorithm for planning and solving the problems. The word algorithm means a process or set of rules to be followed in calculations or other problem solving operations. So we can say the definition of algorithm is like, algorithm is a step-by-step procedure to solve the problem. That means in short we can say we should follow some steps, we should write some steps in such a way that by following those steps we can solve a particular problem. So that is about algorithms. So what are the advantages of algorithm? Yes, let's see. First of all, we can say it is a stepwise representation of a solution of any problem. So it makes it easy to understand. Then second, we can say it is not dependent on any programming language. So it is easy to understand for anyone even without having programming knowledge. And one more advantage, that is every step in an algorithm has its own logical sequence. So it is easy to debug. That means we can identify any error easily from the algorithms. Now let's see what are the characteristics. So whenever we are going to solve any problem in programming languages, at that time we should take care about the 2 or 3 main things. That is, first one is a input, second one is a output, and third one is a processing of that particular input data. So what is input? An algorithm may or may not require input. In some problems it is required that user should provide some input data, or in some other programs it is not necessary that user provide any input. Then second one is a output. So each algorithm is expected to produce at least one result. That means a problem should generate some results, right? So we can say that algorithm is expected to produce some result at least. The third characteristic is definiteness. Means each instruction must be clear and unambiguous. Clear and unambiguous. Unambiguous means it should not contain any confusion, right? So that is known as a definiteness. And the last characteristic, that is finiteness. Finiteness means if the instructions of an algorithm are executed, the algorithm should terminate after a finite number of steps. That means there are some limitations that after performing these many steps, the algorithm generates some output. So that is known as finiteness of an algorithm. So these four are the most important characteristics while we are developing algorithms. Now let's see how to write algorithm. So generally algorithms are the stepwise solutions of a problem. So we will write each and every solution step, each and every statement in algorithm in a stepwise way. Okay, so first step should be like, step 1 should be define your algorithm's input. That means whenever we try to make a solution of any problem, then we have to take first step, that is identifying which input data are required while solving a problem, and that is our first step, that is define your algorithm's input. Then second step, define the variables. Now as we are having input data, we should store that data in some variable names. So the second step would be define the variables. Then third step, outline the algorithm's operations. That means whatever problem is there, it should be outlined in some operations, via some operations. So outline the algorithm's operations, or we can say the process, actual process to solve a problem. And the last step, that is step 4, is output the result of your algorithm's operation. That means display the results of your solution. So these are the 4 main steps which should be followed while generating or while writing an algorithms. So this is all about the algorithms. Now let's see the another important point of today's session, that is flowchart. So the first design of a flowchart was made in 1945 by John von Neumann. He was a scientist, he was a mathematician, and he created the first design of a flowchart in 1945. The flowchart uses different symbols to design or to make a solution to a problem. That means it uses different type of symbols to represent different things in a diagram. By looking at any flowchart, one person can understand the operations and sequence of operations performed in a problem solving method or problem solving system. So we can say the process of drawing a flowchart for an algorithm is known as a flowcharting. Yes, the process when we draw a flowchart with reference to some algorithm is known as a flowcharting. So here we discussed algorithm and flowchart. These two are the main important programming tools. Now let's see some more facts about the flowchart. That a flowchart is a graphical representation of an algorithm. So we can relate algorithm with our flowchart via its graphical representation, and programmers often use it as a program planning tool to solve a problem. Flowchart is often considered as a blueprint of a design used for solving a specific problem. So we can say the definition like this, definition of a flowchart. A flowchart is a graphical or diagrammatical representation of sequence of any problem to be solved by computer programming language. So this is all about the definition of a flowchart. Now let's see different symbols used in making a flowchart. So here we have in first column name of the symbols, in second column a symbol itself, and in third column we have the functionality of particular symbol. So let's see, the first symbol is, its name is oval shape, and it is like this, and it is used to represent the start and stop or end of the flowchart. Starting and ending point should be represented with this oval shaped symbol. Then second symbol is a parallelogram. It is known as a parallelogram and it is used for input and output operations. That means if we want to represent input or output operation in our flowchart, then we should use parallelogram symbol. After that, rectangle symbol comes, which is used to show the processing. That means arithmetic operations or data manipulation operations are represented with using rectangle symbol. After that, diamond symbol comes. This particular diamond symbol is used for decision making. Yes, it is used to represent the operation in which there are 2 or 3 alternatives are available, like true or false or option 1, option 2, option 3. So if there are more than 2 alternatives, 2 or more than 2 alternatives are available, then decision making statements are used. Then next symbol is about arrows, using arrows from top, bottom, left or right. So these are known as the flow lines and these are used to indicate the flow of a logic by connecting the symbols. And at last we have a symbol known as circle and it is known as a page connector. It is used when your flowchart diagram is larger than the size of your page. Then we can connect the two parts of the flowchart on different pages using the page connector symbol, that is circle. So these are the basic symbols used in drawing a flowchart. Now let's see some of the guidelines before starting drawing of the flowchart. So let's see, the first one is whenever we start drawing a flowchart, all necessary requirements should be listed out in logical order. That means what are the requirement of the inputs, how many inputs are there, then what is the procedure, how many steps of the procedure required, then how many output variables are generated. All these things, all these logical requirements should be listed out. After that only we can start drawing a flowchart. Then second one is a flowchart should be clear, neat and easy to follow. That means it should be clear, it should be neat and it should be easy to understand. Then one more thing, there should not be any room for ambiguity in understanding the flowchart. That means there should not be any confusion while drawing or while understanding the flowchart. Then next point is the usual directions of the flow of a procedure or system is from left to right or from top to bottom. That means whenever we draw a flowchart, then we should take into the consideration that direction of the flow should be from left to right or from top to bottom. Then only one flow line should come out from a process symbol. Yes, process symbol can generate only one output line. Then next step is only one flow line should enter a decision symbol, but 2 or 3 flow lines, one for each possible answer, should leave the decision symbol. That means we can enter into a decision symbol with only one arrow, but we can have more than one arrow, like 2 arrow or 3 arrow for each possible answers or each possible alternatives while going outline for the decision symbol. And the next thing is only one flow line is used in conjunction with terminal symbol. That means terminal symbols like and stop or start and stop should have only one flow line. Okay, so these are the basic guidelines for drawing the flowchart. Now let's discuss about some of the limitations of flowchart. So whenever we are following some complex logic to solve a problem, so at that time it is quite complicated to draw a flowchart. So in that case, flowchart becomes clumsy Okay, and alterations and modifications of the already available flowchart, that means it requires redrawing the diagrams or symbols again, so it is quite complex. And one more thing, that is reproduction. That means as the flowchart symbols cannot be typed, reproduction of the flowchart becomes a complex thing or becomes a problem. So complex logic, alternation and modification, and reproduction while drawing a flowchart are the limitation of the perfect flowchart. So this is all about the flowchart. Now, one more thing that is related to flowchart and algorithm are the control structures used while drawing a flowchart or while writing an algorithm. So, algorithm can have three different control structures to represent its logic for solution of any problem. These three control structures are sequence, branching, and looping. So whenever we write some steps in one by one step manner in algorithm, then it is known as a sequence structure. Like statements are placed one after the other and execution take place starting from the up to the down. So this is known as a sequential algorithm or sequential manner of the flowchart. The second control structure is a selection, or we can say it is a branching. So in branching control, there is a condition, and according to that condition, whether it is true or false, we should go and execute the statements written in true or false part. So it is known as a branching or selection control structures. And the third one is a loop or repetition. That means the loop or repetition allows a statements to be executed repeatedly based on the certain loop condition. For example, while loop, for loop, etc. That we will discuss in the C programming. So the selection type of control structure would look like this. It has one decision symbol, and from that condition, it is checking condition, and whether the condition is true or false. Based on that, particular bunch of statements will be executed, and after that they will go and meet to some point and go to the next statement in the execution. While iteration or looping control structures, we should check the condition, whether the condition is true or whether the condition satisfied. It allows to perform or execute the number of statements, and then again particular condition will be checked for the new control variable, new value of the control variable, and then it will be again going to execute the same statements, repeatedly execution of the same statements if the condition remains true. At one point of time, the condition becomes false, and then the loop will be exited, and then it will go and execute the next statement after the loop. So these two are the selection and iteration control structures. The simplest one is a sequence control structure, in that each and every statement is written in one by one sequence, and the execution takes place in that particular sequence only. So this is all about the control structures used in the flowchart. Now let's see the example. In that it is a problem given to add two numbers, right? So in left hand side I have written the flow in which manner the particular addition of two numbers is performed. So first of all, we should start with the program, and the algorithm first step is start. Okay, whenever we write some algorithm, then the first step is the starting step. Then in second step, as from the figure left hand side, we can say that some value stored in some variable name A. So we will write the second step in algorithm like input first number, say A. That means input some value in variable A. Then third step, input some value in second number, that is B. and in the next step we will perform addition, that is sum is equal to a plus b. This is a mathematical operation and it denotes that a plus b, number a and b are added and the answer is stored in the variable sum. And in next step, the output, the result of the sum or result of the addition of two number will be displayed. And at the last, in the last step, the problem solution is completed and we will denote it with the stop in the algorithm, stop step. Okay, so now let's see how to draw the flow chart for this particular algorithm or the solution of the problem. So first of all, we have to make symbol start with the oval shape. After that, we will draw a input first number, say a. Step 2, we can write input or read and then variable name a. Same way, second step, third step, that is input another number b, that is read b. Then next step, sum is equal to a plus b, so I have to write process or I have to write calculate a plus b, and that particular answer is stored in a variable sum. So it is necessary to write sum is equal to a plus b. After that, output comes and we should display the output using print or display keyword, print and then variable name sum, print sum. And at the last, I have to mention the ending of the flowchart by the symbol stop, oval shape stop. That is end of the flowchart and algorithm. Now join the all the symbols with using arrows to show the flow. Okay, first step should be start. After completing the first step, only the second step will be executed, that is read the value of a. After that, it shows the arrow into top to bottom. So the third step is read b. Then next, calculate a plus b, sum is equal to a plus b. And then next step, print sum. And then next step, stop. So this is the way how we can draw the flow chart. First of all, make the algorithm, write down or specify the steps, and then according to steps, draw the symbols of the flow chart. Then write down the data inside the symbols of the flow chart to represent particular data or particular step of algorithm in that particular symbol, and then join the symbols using the arrows according to their flow in the solution. Okay, so this is the simplest example of the flowchart and algorithm. Now, one more thing that I want to discuss is about flowchart or algorithm. We should not write any specific data. That means we should not specify that input first number, say a is equal to 529. We cannot write like this. Algorithm and flowchart both are the generalized solution to any problem. So we cannot show specific values of the variables or the keywords into that particular flowchart or algorithm. We should make the name of the variables in the generalized form. Okay, so we should not write like this, read a equal to 529, read b equal to 256, and sum is equal to 529 plus 256. It is not allowed to write specific values of the variables in flowchart as well as algorithm. Students, I hope you enjoy learning flowchart and algorithm through this video. Keep learning programming in C. Thank you.